Hey, it's me, Vicky Marie. And good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are in this crazy world we're living in. So please, can somebody help me out? What we're going to talk about in this video is the latest that's come out about Madeleine McCann, this poor little girl, probably the most famous ever missing persons case. All over the world, everybody knows about this case of Madeleine McCann. Now, please, am I some sort of thicko or what? I'm starting to think, well, I always think I'm living in a parallel universe, but it just seems to be getting worse and worse. So we've had a week where these documentaries have come out with the German police saying they know for certain that Madeleine is dead, and that not only that, the person who did it was Christian Bruekner. Let's have a look at him. We should have a look at him. I'm almost starting to feel sorry for him. I mean, it's ridiculous, really. I'm starting to feel sorry for everybody. It's just crazy, isn't it? Somebody please explain to me how the German police can say without a doubt, in their opinion, they have evidence, they said, that Christian Bruekner, not only, I mean, they've supposedly found all this different evidence about what he's done to all sorts of children. And I'm not saying he hasn't. Maybe he has, but if you've got all this evidence, why has he not been charged? That's just, doesn't make sense to me. Sorry, I'm looking for a picture of Christian to put up. The thing is, Christian doesn't sound like he's a very nice person, does it? Sounds like he's a POS, really. Some of the things he's done, he's currently in prison, isn't he? Serving a sentence for raping a 72-year-old woman, which of course seems at odds with the other crimes that he's accused of, which all seem to concern children. But yeah, somebody give me a clue. Somebody tell me if you have evidence, as according to the police they have, they irrefutably believe Christian is responsible for the abduction and red rum of Madeleine McCann, according to them. But he's not been charged. He's not been charged. And really, are the police supposed to do? God, we complain in a lot of the cases that we do, complaining that the police are keeping things too tight to their chest, not giving out any information, like in Australia over the Samantha Murphy case or other cases. And here we've got the German police blabbing to anyone who'll listen that Christian B is definitely guilty, that Madeleine is dead, they've got evidence, but they're not charging him. Just doesn't make sense to me. So what is going on? And I am also starting to feel sorry for, I've always felt sorry for the McCanns up to one point. I do believe the McCanns, the parents, Madeleine's parents, they are guilty of negligence, and maybe more than that. We just don't know. But, they're the ones that have to live with it for the rest of their life. I don't believe that Madeleine, if the parents did have anything to do with her disappearance, I don't believe for a minute it was deliberate. But so they've got to live with that. So I've always felt a little bit sorry for them, even though I'm not 100% certain why they, chose to leave her and Sean and Amelie in that apartment so far away from where they were getting drunk and enjoying their dinner with their friends. But besides that, what must be awful for them now is for these kind of things to come out all the time. If they think Christian B is guilty, then charge him. If they've got all this evidence, charge him. What do you mean? We're convinced he's guilty and that Madeleine is dead. We've got evidence, but we're not charging him. Come on. They haven't got evidence, have they? They have not got evidence. They've got witness statements. They've got what people are saying that they've seen and saying that Christian said. But you know, these do not stand up in court, do they? It actually is not fair to Christian, who, you know, he's got enough charges going on, hasn't he? He's got enough things that they have got evidence of. Why are they saying this? Why aren't they keeping it to themselves until, you know, the police normally keep things to themselves until they have evidence, don't they? That's what they're supposed to do. How could this man ever have a fair trial for Madeleine's abduction or murder? How could he now? Because he's already been accused of it by the police outside of a court. It's crackers. Don't, you know, it just feels all wrong to me. Anyway, so that's what we're going to talk about in this video. And anybody wants to help me out, and, you know, is it me? Maybe I'm just being thick, but it just all seems weird to me that that the police especially, you know, they're always telling everybody, don't speculate, don't do this, don't do that. But if they've got the evidence, then they should charge him. Anyway, okay, so first of all, before we get into it, and we unpack it, as they say, it's an absolute mess, isn't it? Madeleine's case has been a mess from day one, really, hasn't it? That little girl, she's been let down on so many levels by so many people, including her own family, to be honest. No, you know, who has ever really spoke up for Madeleine? Where is she? That little girl. Something happened to her. We've had people pretending to be her. You know, it's just foul what people have done. This little girl is somewhere, alive or dead. You know, either her little body was hidden somewhere or she is alive somewhere. But I doubt that very much. But, you know, who knows? But according to the German police, no, she has definitely been murdered by Christian B. But no, we're not charging him. So my thoughts, as always, are with Madeleine, you know, because she was a little girl that was let down, a little girl who deserved to be protected. And she wasn't protected. First of all, she was left in an apartment with her two siblings who were even younger than her, left there while her parents went off partying with their friends. That was the first, you know, horrible thing. And then she disappeared. And who knows what happened to her? Okay, so before we get into that, thank you so much for watching, for liking, for subscribing. If you've got anything to offer to this case, please let me know in comments. Just remember to be respectful. Yeah, gosh, I don't, you know, there's nobody out there who doesn't want to see a solution to this case and see what happened to this little girl. May not bring her back. She may not be still alive, but she deserves, you know, to be laid to rest somewhere proper, apart from anything else. Anyway, I'm going to light a candle. This is for Madeleine. I lit a couple of candles for Madeleine when I was in Pradelush, because of course I went on location to the church. I went to the church, went to a service in the church, lit a few candles for Madeleine. That playlist is on my channel if you want to see the location. I saw where the complex was. I saw where the apartment was. You can clearly see you would never leave your children in that apartment, no matter how much the McCanns say, oh, it was just like having dinner in your garden. No, it wasn't. It was miles away. Not unless you lived in Buckingham Palace or somewhere and you had a, you know, a huge garden. I mean huge. Wasn't like having dinner in your garden. They know it. Everybody knows it. They should have been charged with neglect for leaving 3 children under the age of 5 alone in an apartment while they just had a beano with their mates. The other thing, of course, that's wrong, I think, you know, the children's club is now closed down. But I was watching a video earlier about, and Jerry was saying, oh, you know, this is terrible. Madeleine has been targeted we believe Madeleine has been targeted, blah, de, blah, de, blah, de, blah. But no, because you know what? They carried on leaving their children at the children's club after Madeleine was snatched. So you, according to them, wouldn't you think if one of your children had been kidnapped, you wouldn't leave your other two children out of your sight for a minute? But no, they carried on leaving the two, Amelie and Sean, in the children's club, in the same complex where their other daughter had been snatched from. That just stinks to me. Oh yeah, oh well, it's okay, I've lost one, but we've got another two. We'll put them in the children's club, hey, even though Madeleine is, and I think Madeleine was targeted. So they think Madeleine's been targeted, and then they carry on leaving Sean and Amelie in the same children's club, in the same complex. Literally, well, they said it was so close to their apartment, but they carried on doing it. So these are the things I'll never understand about this case. Anyway, so thank you. So yeah, if you want to check that out, that's on my channel. I'll try and remember to put a link in the description box of when I went on location to Prada Luz. And yeah, I did light a few candles for Madeleine in that church there in Prada Luz. So yeah, and I want to say special thank you, of course, to my members. Thank you so much. Thank you to those of you who send me super stickers, PayPals, buy me Ko-fis, send me nice emails, leave nice messages. Thank you to all of you that support my channel. It's so much appreciated. Okay, and then I want to say hello to the lurkers. You know who you are. Hello to the lurkers. Hello to replay crew. And now I'm going to say hello to those of you who are brave enough to venture into the chat. So let me just turn my banner off and let's say hello to everyone. Hi, Hannah. Hi, Bluebell. Yeah. Hi, Geordie Lass. Oh, thank you, Bluebell. This is my new necklace. Look, I'm flowered out this today. I've got my necklace and my earrings on. Hi, Cadders. So, let's have a look. What's happened? Oh, I mean, you know, I'll probably you were the same as me this week. Like, what? You know, Christian B, I think it was a couple of years ago when he was first announced as the main suspect in the Madeleine case, wasn't he? And it was like, what? Because now when I was in Prada Luz, I got chatting to quite a few people there. And, you know, it's only anecdotal evidence, of course, but, you know, one person in particular who still works at what was the Tapas restaurant, which is now like a Asian fusion type bar on the complex. He was working there when Madeleine disappeared. He knows Christian B. And he said, in his opinion, or in most people's opinion from the area, Christian B didn't have anything to do with it. Most of the locals don't think you have to look any further than the parents for what happened to Madeleine. But that doesn't mean say it's true. I'm just telling you what I was told. You know, but I don't think there's any difference between that and what the police are now saying about Christian B, because they're acting on information that they were told by a guy who's supposedly been a witness, who Christian B supposedly said stuff to, who supposedly watched videos from Christian that were Christian B's, but those videos don't exist anymore. Do you know what I mean? What's the difference? Like, I could go to Prada Luz tomorrow and someone could say to me, oh yeah, I saw Jerry take Madeleine from the apartment, or oh yeah, I saw Christian Bruekner break into the apartment and take Madeleine. Just because somebody says something doesn't mean it's true, does it? So you need evidence. You know how the police have been able to come out and say all this. and then say, oh yeah, we think she's dead, we think this, we think that, and then not charge him. Can't Christian B, wouldn't he sue them for that? I mean, you can't just go around, even if you're the police, you can't just go around throwing accusations at people without any proof, can you? It just all seems bizarre to me. It seems totally bizarre. And yeah, I agree with you, Cadders. There is no evidence. He seems like he is a bit of a piece of shit, doesn't it? But just because someone's a piece of shit doesn't mean to say they're guilty of everything that ever happened. Oh, that's right. And another thing they said his phone pinged in the area around that apartment complex. Well, probably a load of people, he was living there at the time, so as I say, this guy that I spoke to knew him. I mean, that guy that I spoke to, his phone will have pinged in that area because he was working in that area. Does that mean they need more than that, don't they? It's like saying, if there was a crime in my little village, be like them saying, oh yeah, Vicky Marie's phone pinged in that area. Yes, because I live here. Of course it does. Of course my phone would have pinged in the area of my village. That doesn't mean to say if a crime happens in my village, it's me who did it. Anyway, it just all seems weird to me. But anyway, so of course, recently there was more money put into the case again, the Operation Grange. Received more money. That's over £13 million. This case has received from the British government. Of course, there'll be Portuguese money that's gone into it, German money now. It's like this. It's horrible, actually, because it's like Madeleine's been turned into some sort of it's like a circus, isn't it? It's been really right from the beginning, all smoke and mirrors. She was seen in Morocco, she was seen here, she was seen there. We've got the fake Madeleine McCann, Julian. Now we've got the fake American Madeleine McCann. All these people pretending to be Madeleine. It's so disrespectful to this little girl's memory, all of it, isn't it, really? Because something happened to this little girl, but deal with it respectfully. But anyway, so let's have a look. We're going to have a look at what's come out this week. This is the Daily Mail. Now you may have seen there is a documentary. I think there might be 2 documentaries that's come out, which I can't show that because they won't allow me to, basically. Copyright wise. Oh, this is going to start jumping up and down. So now as I say, he's in prison, isn't he? Christian is in prison, charged with the RAPE of a 72-year-old American tourist, which of course he claims he's not guilty of. Not many people who are guilty claim they're guilty, do they? But he's saying he's innocent. Who knows? And so this video that's come out is called The Unseen Evidence. So the only suspect in the Madeleine McCann case could flee to a country without an extradition treaty if he walks free from prison in 4 weeks' time, it is feared. He is currently in German jail for raping a woman in 2005 in the same part of Portugal's Algarve region, where 3-year-old Madeleine went missing in 2007. But the 47-year-old, God, is he only 47? He looks much older, doesn't he? The 47-year-old German national's 7-year prison term is set to end with his release this September, which is much earlier than prosecutors had hoped for, after he was acquitted of unrelated sex offences in court last October following a trial. So yeah, he had a trial and he was acquitted. So why was he acquitted if they've got all this bloody evidence? I just don't understand that at all. Bruekner is under investigation on suspicion of murder in the McCann case, but has denied any involvement in the girl's disappearance and has not been charged. And now a new Channel 4 documentary has examined how investigators face a race against time if they're able to make a charge before Bruekner is released from prison. And prosecutors have previously said, see, this is it. Prosecutors have said they have evidence that he killed Madeleine McCann. Well, charge him then. And the new programme revealed a document that shows German police are in possession of an 80 GB hard drive and a separate laptop linked to Bruekner. Notice linked. I mean, are they his or not? What do you mean linked? Details of what is on these devices is unknown, but is understood there are crucial images from his time in Portugal and evidence said to be key in persuading the police that Madeleine died shortly after her disappearance. Do you know, literally, I could make a video and claim all this, couldn't have things like this. You know, what I try and always avoid on my channel is making things up or, you know, say, you know, speculating. I mean, you're bound to make some casual speculations, but, you know, I could literally make a video and say, bombshell, new evidence in the Madeleine McCann case. You know, that's the sort of thing people say, oh my God, you know, blah, blah, blah. And then really it's a nothing burger when you go into it. There's nothing concrete, just clickbait. Anyone, you know, and that really, what's the difference between what they're doing? You know, they're just speculating, insinuating, but nothing concrete. Details of what are on these devices is unknown, but there are crucial images from Bruekner's time in Portugal and evidence said to be key in persuading police that she died shortly after her disappearance. What is the evidence? So prosecutors will now have to consider whether this evidence is strong enough to charge Bruekner before he's released and could potentially leave the country. Now that should be the first thing they do before they talk about it, before these documentaries come out about it, before the police talk about it. They should find if the evidence is strong enough or not. You know, that's what you do. You don't. Do you see what I'm saying? Now, here he is, and yeah, he probably is not. I mean, I don't know him. I mean, the guy I spoke to in Portugal said he was a nice guy. So, you know, pay your money, take your choice. I have no idea because I've never met Christian Bruekner. I don't know anything about him, or, you know, in real life. You only know what you read about him. Maybe he is a horrible person. Maybe he has done horrible things. But even so, he should not be accused of things that he has not done without any evidence. I'm totally baffled. You might gather it. Honest to God, I am completely baffled with the whole thing. You just think, what? And why is he, you know, first thing he should do when he comes out of prison, if he doesn't get charged, is sue them. Because, you know, imagine somebody saying all that about you, and even if you had done things wrong, but saying all things that you hadn't done. And he was acquitted of unrelated sex offences as well. So this is what matters, or who matters, of course, this little girl let down by the whole world, I think, just let down by everybody. You know, it's just... hi Daniel, awful, you know. What about Madeleine? Nobody shows any respect to Madeleine, do they? You know, those fake Madeleine McCanns, where's their respect to this little girl? You know, it's just using her as a tool for their own sort of egos or their own desperate need for attention. And then YouTubers using those girls like for their channels or whatever, You know, nobody think, what about Madeleine? Anyway. So these are apparently the things that they found. A metal suitcase discovered by German police in 2016 reportedly contained photos of girls. Now, I don't know who the girls are in this suitcase. Again, if they were concrete evidence, he would have been charged with something. It's not illegal, of course, to have photos of girls. Even if it might be a bit creepy, I don't know who those girls are. So this was strange. It says that they discovered USB sticks and memory cards buried beneath the body of his dog. Now, I read somewhere today they were saying they were on these USB sticks and memory cards. There was footage of abuse to children and animals. But again, they haven't. Where's the charges? Because that is evidence, isn't it? That is evidence. If they found pictures of abuse, animal abuse, or abuse against people or children, if they found actual photographic evidence, well, that is evidence. So why haven't they charged him? I mean, you just, in the end, I just don't believe anything. The wallet in which the USB sticks and memory cards were in was found by investigators. Bottles and substances were found inside a Jaguar, matching the description of Bruekner's vehicle. Well, matching the description is not... I mean, was it his vehicle? A Jaguar. Matching the description of his vehicle. I mean, how much more fuzzy can you get? Was it his Jaguar or wasn't it? No, how can... just doesn't make sense to me. It was either his Jaguar or it wasn't. There must be a way of proving it, like the matriculation, the bloody number plate. It's no good saying, oh my God, I mean, I've got a Renault. Do you imagine? Oh, yeah, substances were found in a Renault similar to Vicky Marie's chats. So imagine, yeah, the evidence against me could be substances found in a Renault, a ping in the area where the crime happened because I happen to live there. Phone ping. Do you know, this is not evidence. Anyway, during the documentary which aired last night, the Sun's foreign editor, Nick Parker, said there's every chance with his track record that he could just disappear. He could get out of Germany and vanish God knows where. Where's he going to go? Should that happen, it's very difficult to see where the McCann inquiry might go. And Rob Pattinson, an investigative journalist for the newspaper, added, legally, he could be out in weeks. After that, he's a free man and he can go wherever he wants. And of course, that brings with it the risk he goes to a country with a non-extradition treaty where he can't be brought back to Germany. Well, there are not many countries that won't have an extradition treaty. But yeah, he could go anywhere. But is he likely to? Anyway, last October, he was cleared at a court in Brunswick of 3 charges of aggravated rape and 2 of sexual abuse of children. Now, he was acquitted. I just don't understand this. How was he acquitted if they've got all this evidence? Anyway, prosecutors had argued for him to be handed a 15-year sentence for the offences, and he'd already been serving a 7-year prison term in Germany for the RAP of this woman in Portugal. He had been on trial since February last year over the other offences he was alleged to have committed in Portugal between 2000 and 2017. Defence lawyers said there was a lack of evidence with witnesses who are not credible. I've got to agree that, I mean, there are this witness that's saying that he's seen all these videos. They're bearing in mind that the videos that the witness, who supposedly was a friend of Christian's, he's supposedly seen all these videos, but those videos don't exist anymore. So it's only him, his word. And why didn't he say something at the time? I mean, he says he did. He said he tried to phone the police, but they didn't take any notice. You know, not being funny, but so he's got evidence on the most famous missing persons case of all time. And he's trying to say that he phoned the police and the police weren't interested at the time. You know, so what's his credibility? So Kai Feldhaus, chief reporter for the German newspaper Bild, told the documentary the prosecution hoped to get a guilty verdict that will keep the accused in jail and pave the way for a Maddie case. Why does a way have to be paved? Either you've got evidence or not. Well, this hope wasn't fulfilled at all. The court declared the accused was not guilty of all 5 counts. Well, why did they find him not guilty? They can opt for applying for a new arrest warrant concerning the Maddie case. They can press charges concerning the Maddie case, but they have said on numerous occasions they don't have enough to charge. So this is a very risky game. But if they don't have enough to charge, they can't be out all over the news and on documentaries. You know, could Christian Bruekner not sue for defamation of character? Just seems to me. Hi, Joanne. Hi, Ruth. Yeah, I agree, Ruth. I agree. It feels that way, doesn't it? The thing is, if it's not that he's being used as a scapegoat, then charge him. You know, it's simple, isn't it, really? And also, you can't go out blackening someone's name, whatever piece of shit it might be. You can't go around accusing someone of something with, you know, they're not supposed to, they're supposed to wait till they've got the evidence, then charge him, not say, oh yeah, he's definitely guilty, but we haven't got the evidence. That's not what the police are supposed to do, is it? So Bruekner spent many years in Portugal, including the resort of Praia da Luz. Now that is true. And that guy I spoke to in Portugal, he knew him personally. He said he was like a van lifer. He sort of lived in a van. You know, he was there. He was there. So the Brunswick State Court had jurisdiction for the case last year because Bruekner had his last German residence in that city in Lower Saxony. German prosecutors said at that time that the investigation into Madeleine's disappearance would continue despite his acquittal. And prosecutor Hans Christian Walters said in October, Christian Bruekner is our prime suspect. He's the only suspect we have in the Maddie McCann case. Well, you know, it might be the only suspect you've got, but you're German. You know, it didn't happen. At the end of the day, it didn't happen in Germany either. And Madeleine was not German. So, you know, really the prime sort of police that should be dealing with this are the Portuguese police and the British police. Here we go again. We have evidence that he killed Madeleine McCann, but it's not the time for us to put it on the table. We shouldn't even be discussing it and to decide if we could charge him or if you could go for an arrest warrant or something like that in the Madeleine case. Maybe we'll come to this point in the next year. As things stand, Bruekner will be released from jail in September. So, God, this is going to go on all the way till September now. So we're on the 10th of May as I'm making this video. We've got another 4 months of this until Christian is released. And once Christian's released, what will happen then? You know, if he does get released, or are they going to manage to pull a case together before then? So the prosecutor said he could apply for a new arrest warrant for Bruekner to remain in custody beyond September, but Bruekner's defence team have said they would oppose such an appeal. Well, of course they will. I mean, if they've got the evidence, then yeah, put out the arrest warrant. If you haven't, what can you do? And then it's just going on to talk about Madeleine. So German police said in June 2020 that Madeleine, they're calling her McCann, Madeleine was assumed. See, there's no respect, is there? Where's the respect for this little girl? Can't even use her first name. And that Bruekner was likely responsible for it. Now, I wonder what the McCanns think of that. Because, of course, Jerry and Kate, they don't comment anymore on any, you know, they never comment. They have a policy of no comment now on any developments. They just, I'm sure the police, well, the British police anyway, will keep them informed of anything that's going on. But I don't know if they've had any actual contact with the German police. I mean, what do they make of it all? Because they're always, you know, whatever you think or don't think of them, they are always saying they try to keep hope that Madeleine is still alive. So now they've got these German police saying, no, she's not. Wonder what they think about it all. And then, yeah, in April, remember we looked at this, ministers approved more than 100,000, I think it was, wasn't it 108,000 or something, pounds in additional funding for Scotland Yard detectives investigating her disappearance. And now German investigators are urgently calling on Metropolitan Police to revive their investigation after newly uncovered evidence found in a German factory, which authorities believe may link him to Madeleine's abduction. A vile catalogue of depraved documents, children's clothing, small bikes, and more than 75 swimsuits and toys believed to belong to young girls. I mean, what the hell is that all about? And were they his? You know, is it proven that they were his? So notice, again, some were reportedly. Nothing's definite, is it? Reportedly buried beneath the body of Bruekner's dead dog, which was exhumed during the police search. The clock is against the case here, and investigators do not want to see Bruekner walk free, a source told The Sun. Their best option could be intervention from UK cops, but they have to be prepared to take it on. There are 20,000 pages of Madeleine evidence, and the Germans are ready to translate the lot. In 2016, officers discovered up to 8,000 files at the site, including USB sticks and hard drives, containing what are alleged to be disturbing images and graphic stories of child abduction. So why has he not been charged with that? You know, just having that is an offence, isn't it? You know, why hasn't he been charged with that then? One document reportedly described drugging a mother and daughter outside a preschool and abusing a 4-year-old blonde girl, a chilling echo of the real-life tragedy that unfolded in Portugal in 2007. Well, not really. No, how is that an echo of what happened to Madeleine? Someone drugging a mother and a daughter outside a preschool. It's nothing like what happened to Madeleine. Oh, the other thing I was watching today, was saying that, I think it was the policeman or the prosecutor saying they thought that Christian Bruekner drugged her with solvents, you know, that would have made her sleepy. Come on. I just, again, no evidence of that. Why would they even say that? Where's the evidence? So they're saying he broke into that apartment around about, was it 9:30 at night, 10 o'clock at night? I think he'd be struggling to break into that apartment. I've seen the apartment. You've got the window that faces out over to the complex. So, you from the tapas restaurant, what was the tapas restaurant? You can see the window, but I mean, it's miles away. It's like you could see a window of something that's miles away, but you couldn't see if anyone was inside or anyone was at the window. You could just see the window. And then the door into the apartment is right round the other side. And there's a road there. I think it would be taking a big chance to go in there and then come out holding a child, carrying a child. He would, there'd be cars going at 10 o'clock at night. There would be still traffic in Portugal. It's not a place where everything closes early, I don't know. Just doesn't make sense to me. None of it makes sense. So a laptop and satellite navigation system seized from the same location as said to have traced Bruekner's movements around the Aradi Dam, just 35 miles from Praia da Luz. And that was a couple of years ago, wasn't it? The police went there to that dam and started digging things up. Photos later emerged of Bruekner posing nude at the dam, having scrawled a crude mask over his own face, a bizarre and deeply sinister image that added to growing suspicions around him. Whilst no forensic proof has been uncovered linking Bruekner definitely to Madeleine's disappearance, German prosecutors have said they are convinced she is dead and that Bruekner is responsible. So these are some of the bathing costumes. 75 children's swimming costumes, apparently, allegedly, were found. I mean, that's strange, isn't it? Very strange. I don't know. I just can't get my head around this whole thing. Anyway, and a laptop allegedly contains information that could, again, just could, would, should. There's no definite, is there? Contains information that could link Bruekner to Maddie's disappearance. I think if you look hard enough, you could find something, but, and then there was a gun. 3 black market guns and ammunition they found. And this is him posing by the dam. This is obviously not the one of him being nude, thank God. Don't want to see any more button mushrooms, do we? We've seen enough of them with Stefan Stearns. Yeah, I don't know. He's not aging very well, I'll say that for him. He doesn't look too clever, does he? Maybe prison does that to you. We have strong evidence that Madeleine McCann is dead and our suspect killed her. Oh, that's what I was watching earlier, the 60 Minutes Australia. If you get a chance to watch that, 60 Minutes Australia, it was very interesting. We don't have the body and no parts of the body, but we have enough evidence to say our suspect killed Madeleine McCann. Well, charge him then. Charge him. So the Channel 4 documentary features, so this is Sun has got together with Channel 4, hasn't it, and things. They've all got together. And somebody just said there in the chat about the criminal profiler, didn't she call it a crock pot or something? I agree completely with her. Who was it said that? I can't find it now. Yeah. Hi, Ricardo. Yeah. Hi, Claire. Pat Brown, that was it. Yeah, Pat Brown, the profiler. Yeah, she really, because she has always maintained, and again, she doesn't know for sure, like none of us do, but her opinion has always been that you don't need to look any further, that Madeleine was never abducted, let's say. She's always said that. So, yeah, she came out and she's called it a crock pot of something. I haven't watched the video because I haven't had time, but I did see it popped up on, I think I'm subscribed to her channel. So that's what she thinks of it. You know, there'll be some people, you know, I don't know who will think it's true. I don't know. So this is a Channel 4 documentary, and they made it in conjunction with The Sun. I mean, that's a weird sort of combination, isn't it? Is that anyway? So this documentary features disturbing new details of the investigation, including accounts from informants. See, this is the thing. These accounts that this witness has given, he's not a reliable witness. He's got all these videos that he says he watched that was Christian, you know, doing horrible things to children. I mean, maybe Christian has. I'm not saying he hasn't. What I'm saying is, where's the evidence? You know, he's just been found not guilty. And that will be because there wasn't enough evidence. And now this informant who's saying he's seen all these videos that now no longer exist, but he's seen them. You know, how can he be trusted? Do you know, it wouldn't stand up in court, would it? So accounts from informants and previously unreleased police evidence fueling renewed calls for British police to step up their own efforts. And one detail allegedly supporting the case against him is an insurance claim signed by Bruekner that placed him in Orgiva, Spain in March 2008. And this coincides with a hippie festival, which is where, according to the informant, he confessed to knowing what had happened to Madeleine. Now, when you actually look at that as well, when I watched the guy saying, Christian allegedly said she didn't scream. That's not confessing to murdering somebody, is it? She didn't scream. He didn't say to him, I killed Madeleine McCann or I kidnapped Madeleine McCann. He did, you know, he didn't actually say that. He said she didn't scream. So it's not really a confession, is it? So look, an insurance document is said to prove for the first time Bruekner was at a festival in March 2008. So maybe he was at that festival where he allegedly all but confessed to killing Madeleine. All but that's the crucial bit, isn't it? He all but confessed. In other words, he didn't, I nearly swore then, he didn't confess. When somebody all but confesses, it means they didn't confess. So he didn't. Yeah, now what is this place? So German police unearthed a disturbing cache of materials at a former box making factory. What has he got to do with that, I wonder? This is supposedly his secret lair. Let's have a look at the video. I might get pulled up for copyright on this. Anyway, I can always take it out after. Oh, yes. Oh, no, shoes.
Police searched a deserted factory owned by Bruekner and made a grim discovery.
Owned by Bruekner. He owned a factory.
Hard drives and USB sticks hidden in a plastic bag, buried with his dog.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Oh, I'll turn that off. Well, Oh, this is him leaving court. Okay. Leaving court, arriving at court. So that's this. I didn't. Well, how did he own a factory? I don't. Do you know what I mean? It's just. It's like you just get to know all these weird. There's always new things coming out. So these were the pajamas, weren't they? Supposedly similar to. They're not the pajamas because, of course, Madeleine was still wearing the pajamas, but they are similar pajamas. I've got a video playing in the background. Oh, this was him appearing in court. Let's have a look at that, actually. Dude, this guy, he needs to sue these people because you can't just go around saying that somebody's done something and then saying, oh, but we haven't got enough evidence. No, whatever piece of shit he is, nobody, you just can't do it. It's against the law, isn't it? I think that's his defense team. He was supposed to be a van lifer. How's he got a factory? How does he own a factory? Maybe he inherited it. I don't know. It's all weird. Yeah, it's all very strange, I think. So yeah, that's them with the pajamas that allegedly or apparent similar pajamas to what Madeleine was wearing. Look, I mean, I don't know. I'll let you tell me what you think of that photo. Just, I don't know. That poor little girl. So then there was another woman, another person, Helge Busching, a former acquaintance of Bruekner. She told German authorities, Christian asked me if I was still going to Portugal. And I replied, I'm no longer going to Portugal because there are too many problems there on account of the missing child. And it is indeed strange that she disappeared without a trace. Christian replied, yes, she did not scream. Well, how is that a confession? Because anyone could say, well, it's strange she didn't scream when she was taken. Doesn't mean to say you took them. And why didn't she scream? If somebody went in that apartment and kidnapped Madeleine, why didn't she scream? I don't think that's a weird thing to say, is it? So Bruekner has dismissed Busching's testimony as not even worthy of comment, but prosecutors say his insurance claim supports Busching's timeline and Bruekner's presence at the event. So, the discovery of chemicals believed to be chloroform or ether, unlicensed firearms and Skype chats with fellow paedophiles have further painted a harrowing picture of a man who changed at night, according to those interviewed in the documentary. Well, Skype chats with fellow paedophiles. Well, is there nothing to charge him with there, though? So they've got all, no comprendo. I just don't understand why he hasn't been charged then if they've got all this evidence. So the Met Police were present during the 2023 search of the Iradi Dam. That was the year I went to Praia da Luz. I think this was in March or something. I went in May to Portugal. And the Met says it remains open to any new evidence, evidence being the key word. So yeah, prosecutors insist Madeleine is dead, but are yet to disclose evidence supporting this theory. Again, a police test in the Aradi Dam area, materials were sent to German authorities for further analysis, but it's not known if any decisive evidence was found. What is the point in saying all this? And then saying, oh, but it's not known if any evidence was found. Let's watch this video. Hi. Oh. Won't let me. So see, this is the complex. There's the tappers bar. The apartment's miles away. You would not leave your children there. And you can't access it. You have to go out onto the street and walk round the corner. This is like the town centre where the police station is. This is such a sleepy little village. It's like, I think, they did cock it up, the police, didn't they? They did not think for a minute that anything had happened to Madeleine, because nothing had ever happened there like that before, and nothing has ever happened since. It's a sleepy little place with no crime, virtually. That's the Aradi Dam, I think. Oh, I wish I could find Madeleine, find some trace of her. Where is she? She's got to be somewhere, bless her. Again, the apartment there. You don't go in that way, you go around the other side. So that's the apartment there, but to get to it, you have to go around where that guy's going with the dog. And up the stairs, of course. There it is. There's the apartment there. Yeah, you have to go in there. Yeah. It's a beautiful beach. Takes a lot of walking down to. It's really steep. When you come off the beach to go back up to the apartments, it's quite a walk. But it is beautiful. Yep, there's the dam again. This was the police at the apartment the day after she was reported missing. So, of course, it's just been the anniversary, hasn't there? Because she went missing on the 3rd of May. We're now on the 10th of May. So a spokesman for the Met said, we continue to support Madeleine's family to understand what happened on the evening of the 3rd of May 2007 in Praia-da-Luz. This includes working with our colleagues in Germany and Portugal. Our thoughts remain with the family. And despite their commitment, Operation Grange, the unit set up to investigate Madeleine's case, has had its funding cut again, but they received 108,000 this year, down from 192,000. And this case has now cost UK taxpayers almost £13.5 million over 18 years. And last week, Madeleine's family marked the 18th anniversary of her disappearance by remembering her as a very beautiful and unique person ahead of what would be her 22nd birthday. And a statement from her parents, Kate and Jerry McCann, and the family said, the years appear to be passing even more quickly, and whilst we have no significant news to share, our determination to leave no stone unturned is unwavering. We will do our utmost to achieve this. I think, let's have a look. Didn't Sean go to the vigil? I don't know. Let's have a look. So it'd be interesting later in the year to see Julia's trial. Julia, the fake Madeleine McCann. She's got her court case coming up, and apparently the McCanns will be there at that court case. So they had this vigil and they were given police protection. Police were deployed to protect Kate and Jerry McCann at a prayer vigil marking the 18th anniversary of their daughter Madeleine's disappearance amid serious stalking concerns. Well, the stalkers are in prison, so, don't know how they were going to go and do that. The security measure comes after the couple were allegedly targeted by two women, including one who falsely claims to be Madeleine herself, but they're in prison. Anyway, this was the first police presence at the annual Rothley vigil in 8 years, with officers last attending in 2017 for the 10th anniversary gathering. And they were they didn't go last year, did they? Because Julia Wandel turned up at their home in Leicestershire, which is wrong, of course. Is completely wrong. But I do wonder why, how many people get stalked. Sorry, I'll just share that. How many people get stalked, don't get police protection? In fact, it just, you do feel like there's a little bit of, I don't know. They seem to get special treatment, don't they? So, Julia Wandel, 23, is charged with 4 counts of stalking Madeleine's family, including her twin siblings, Sean and Amelie. She allegedly attended the McCann's home on multiple occasions and sent letters, calls, voicemails, WhatsApp messages to the family. And Karen Spragg, 60, from Cardiff, faces 1 charge of stalking. And they face trial in October. Kate and Jerry are due to give evidence in person at the trial, along with their twins. Wandel was remanded in custody until August, while Spragg was released on bail with conditions not to contact the McCanns or enter Leicestershire except for court appearances. So there you go. That's where we are. Maybe I'm just some kind of thicko, but I don't understand. There's so many things I don't understand about this case. One, I don't understand why the McCanns left 3 children under the age of 5 in that apartment while they were having a booze up with their friends, right from the start. Then, as somewhat Claire's just said there, why did Kate, then after allegedly she found Madeleine was missing, run out and leave the twins on their own in there? Why did they carry on leaving the twins at the kids' club after Madeleine had been abducted and allegedly they thought that she'd been targeted? So there's those kind of things. Then over the years, there's been so many things. I don't understand why they took on a media manager, Clarence Mitchell. They turned it into like this they were the first, when sometimes people, families get criticised, don't they, for starting GoFundMes and stuff like that. We saw that with Jay Slater, his mum in particular received a lot of hate, didn't she, because she received money from the GoFundMe and that. But the McCanns started all that. And then, of course, Shannon Matthews, her family, they tried to turn her into the next Madeleine McCann, didn't they? But they weren't clever enough. Weren't quite as clever as Kate and Jerry, were they? So, you know, there's all that I don't understand. And now it's just one thing after another, isn't it? And now I don't understand how they're going around saying she's dead, saying they've got evidence, but no charges are being brought. So I don't know. Yeah, Joanne, it was good that I watched. They're always good. I like 60 Minutes Australia. They're one of my favourite, you know, when they do interviews. Oh, and I'll tell you what. So after I watched 60 Minutes about this McCann thing, you know, how your next YouTube video comes up. You know what came up? It was an interview that they did with Virginia Giuffre over the Prince Andrew thing. Oh my God, it was very sad to watch it. You know, bearing in mind now what's happened to Virginia and how she's taken her own life. Watching that interview, that girl, what she went through, that woman, you know, she never got over that abuse that she suffered from Andrew and Epstein and what's her name, the woman. It's like she just never recovered from it. That will scar you for life. She was abused all her life, and in the end, she just couldn't cope with it anymore. Poor Virginia. So actually, I'm going to add. So this, I'm going to just to the candle which I lit for Madeleine, but I'm going to say a little prayer for Virginia as well, because it's very sad that what happened to Virginia. I know. Yeah, that's an interesting watch, that, Claire, if you get a chance to watch it. 60 Minutes Australia, the interview with Virginia Giuffre. Very, very emotional. And the reporter on there, she's very good. She's very good. You know, the way she questions people. Very good. Okay. Oh, look, the dogs. Oh. The German Shepherd, she likes to catch flies. I think she's got it. Have you got it? Trouble is, she then chomps them. She eats flies, wasps, bees, anything. You can't stop her because she just... Oh, no, she didn't get it. It's climbing up the net curtain. It's escaped this time, but she'll get it. You don't need a fly catcher in my house. Where's it gone? Where's that fly gone? There it is. There it is. Get it. Go on, get it. Yeah, you don't need any fly spray. She gets all the flies. Okay, so yeah. Hive. Yeah, I think most of us agree with that, to be honest. Yeah. No, she's on the hunt for it again. Okay, so yeah, let me know what you think in comments, as always. I just think, oh, and it's nice to see you all feel the same as me. I think most people feel it. That makes me feel better, because I'm thinking, is it just me? Am I some sort of thicko or something that I can't understand why you supposedly got all this evidence, but there's no charges? And whatever piece of shit Christian Bruekner might be, I don't know. You know, because to me, he's just been, well, it's just been acquitted for a start, for another set of, is he going to just get everything thrown at him now? Or is he really, you know, a horrible person? I don't think he's a particularly nice person, but who knows? Do you know, I'm totally confused. Totally confused. Okay. She's on the hunt for it again. Anyway, I'm going, but I've got quite a few other things I want to talk about. I was going to sort of add them onto this, but after I've been talking for a while, my voice starts to go. So I'll wait and I'll talk to you about them later. He's going to be freed, Claire, in September. He's due out, and he was acquitted of. He's in prison. If you missed it earlier, but, you know, don't forget to catch up if you can, because you might have missed a few things. He's in prison for the RAPE of a 72-year-old woman. That, again, to me is strange, because, you know, normally, I mean, it could be that, you know, sometimes predators, they just attack vulnerable people. So that could be children or older people, because they're all vulnerable, aren't they? Easy to attack. And that's what somebody was saying in something I was watching. It's not about sex, it's about power and things like that. And it could be. But to me, I just think it seems strange that you would attack a 72-year-old woman, and then in the other way you've stolen, supposedly, allegedly, all these children's bathing costumes, and you're really interested in children. I mean, like, they're two quite distinct predatory sort of behaviors, aren't they? So yeah, they do normally stick to type. Yeah. They do normally, but what this psychologist or whatever was saying, that it's about power, so it doesn't necessarily mean, you know, it could be children, it could be old people, it could be anyone, because it's not really about the sex, it's about the power. So possibly, but possiblemente. Okay, well, I hope you all enjoy your Saturday. I may see you later. I'll certainly see you tomorrow. Yeah, it's nice and sunny here. It's currently here in Spain. If you don't know, I'm based in Spain. It's 19 degrees, a little bit cloudy, but it's still nice. I've got, I don't, you know, number one son went out last night, came in briefly this morning, and went back out again. So I think he's planning on having a weekender, you know, which is good, because it means I get some peace and quiet, and I can maybe get some videos done and things. So anyway, thank you for watching. I'll see you really soon in the next video, as always. And yeah, put my banner on. Enjoy your day, or your afternoon, or your evening. And until I see you again, may your God go with you. Bye. Don't forget to like, please. Don't forget to subscribe if you're not, and don't forget to press your notification bell. Adios.